All right, let's dive right into one of the greatest engineering mysteries in all of human history. How in the world did the ancient Egyptians build the Great Pyramids? Okay, to start, let's just try to wrap our heads around the scale here. The Great Pyramid of Giza, which was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, is an absolute monster. We're talking about an estimated 2.3 million massive stone blocks. And get this, these weren't just some little bricks. Many of these blocks of limestone and granite weighed anywhere from 2.5 to 15 tons each. To put that in perspective, your average car is maybe 1.5 tons. Then they had to lift these massive stones and place them perfectly, creating a structure that originally soared to a staggering height of 147 meters. That's 481 feet tall. So the big question is, how did they pull this off, without any modern machinery? For centuries, this question has stumped scientists and led to all kinds of wild theories. But the real answer isn't about aliens or some lost technology. Turns out, the clues to a truly brilliant solution were hiding in plain sight this whole time. To really appreciate just how genius their solution was, we first have to understand the sheer, mind-boggling scale of the problem these ancient builders were up against. And it wasn't just about the number of stones, it was the size. Deep inside the pyramid, in the king's chamber, they used these enormous granite beams, some weighing up to 80 tons. 80! And to get them there, they had to quarry them in Aswan and then haul them over 800 kilometers. Now think about the pace of construction. For 2 decades straight, a new multi-ton block had to be hauled up and set in place every few minutes. The logistics alone are just staggering. This wasn't just construction. This was a non-stop, perfectly coordinated machine of an operation. So, to figure out how they built the Great Pyramid, we actually have to go back in time. Because the secret isn't at Giza. It's with its older predecessor, the Step Pyramid. You see, that perfect, smooth-sided pyramid we all know didn't just pop into existence. It was a long process of trial and error. The whole journey started with Djoser's Step Pyramid, then it evolved with the pyramids of Pharaoh Snofru, and it all finally culminated in Khufu's masterpiece. Every single project taught them something new. And here is the core idea, the big innovation. The steps themselves were the key. They weren't just a design choice. They were this incredible all-in-one construction tool. They acted as scaffolding for the workers, a measuring system to keep the geometry precise, and, crucially, the foundation for a totally ingenious ramp system. Right, so that step module idea leads us directly to the heart of the mystery, the ramps. How on earth did they get those 80-ton blocks all the way to the top? Now, you've probably seen that image of one single massive ramp going straight to the top. Well, that theory just doesn't work. A ramp like that would have to be over a mile long, and it would have used more material than the pyramid itself. It was a logistical nightmare. No, the evidence points to a much, much cleverer solution, a system of ramps that zigzagged up the faces of the pyramid, using the pyramid's own steps for support as it went. Okay, that's a great theory, but a theory needs proof, right? If these ramps were really there, where are they now? And this is where it gets really cool. The answer is on another older pyramid at a place called Meidum. On the side of it, there's a faint but clear 5-meter-wide recess. It's basically a negative imprint, the only physical evidence we've ever found of where one of these high-altitude ramps was once attached. As preservation expert Tom Learman points out, this mark is almost certainly a construction joint where a ramp was docked. Once the pyramid was finished, they just dismantled the temporary ramp, leaving this little ghostly footprint behind as the only clue. So, with the ramp problem solved, the Egyptians could take this system and apply it to their most ambitious project yet, the Great Pyramid of Khufu. But just lifting the stones was only half the battle. Imagine being the site foreman. You've got thousands of workers, a relentless schedule. You have to assign jobs, coordinate materials, keep all the pathways clear, and even track everyone's performance for payment. It was a massive project management challenge. Their solution was pure genius. They laid out the entire 200 by 200 meter base on a modular grid, kind of like a modern city plan. They used a standard unit of measurement called a cubit, and this allowed foremen to assign specific plots to each crew, manage materials, and track progress with incredible precision. It was basically an ancient blueprint for a modern construction site. So, This amazing combination of engineering and organization created a monument that was designed to last for eternity. And it has, for 4,500 years. But now, its survival is facing new, very modern challenges. The pyramids have lasted so long for two big reasons. One, their shape is incredibly stable. And two, the builders chose their location perfectly. They built on the Giza Plateau, which is solid, geologically stable bedrock, far away from major earthquake fault lines. But today, the pyramids are facing threats their builders could never have anticipated. Rising groundwater from the massive growth of Cairo is seeping into their foundations. There's an increased seismic risk from a nearby zone. Pollution is literally causing the stones to decay. The 1992 Cairo earthquake was a huge wake-up call. It actually shook some of the outer tasing stones loose. So here's the takeaway. The very engineering and geology that made the pyramids so durable for millennia are now being challenged by our rapidly changing world. This ancient solution is facing a very modern problem. And that leaves us with one final crucial question. The ancient Egyptians rose to their challenge with incredible ingenuity. The question for our generation is, can we rise to ours and solve the challenge of preserving their legacy forever?